and listening to your concerns. And the one thing that I take away from all of this is that you want to change the direction of our country. I think Georgians made it loud and clear tonight that we want to stop the failed policies of this administration and Harry Reid. Georgians want a safer America. They want a stronger America. They want a more secure America. Whether it's a stronger foreign policy, dealing with threats like ISIS and Ebola, fixing the VA, securing our border, and really doing something finally about this debt for our kids and grandkids. And we finally want to start working on a bipartisan approach, not a partisan approach, to health care. Georgians want term limits. I heard that over and over in this state. We believe it's time to put citizen legislators up there, people who are from us, among us, and go up there and do our bidding and try to fix the problems of the day and then come home and let somebody else go try to help. That's what we're doing. Bonnie and I never thought about doing this. You know that. Sometimes I wonder. Georgians want somebody to fight for them, though. I heard that loud and clear in this state. And Bonnie and I are committed to go to Washington and fight for you, and not the special interests and not the insiders in Washington, but you, the Georgians that we love. You know, we heard loud and clear Georgians want us to fight for their constitutional rights. They want us to fight for the right to life, the value of life. A senator who won't bend to special interests, but listen to the people here at home and act accordingly and bring a sense of urgency to Washington. The thing we heard more than anything else is that Washington's broken and it's affecting our lives. And we don't want to leave this world to our kids without trying to make it better. Most importantly, Georgians want good paying jobs. And to do that, we've got to get this economy going. We have to finally resolve our tax problems. And right now, Saxby Chamos is handing the baton over to me, and I'm going to fight for the fair tax. You know, I never imagined.
There's your next senator from the state of Georgia, David Perdue, absolutely throwing out a red meat victory speech tonight, talking about everything from what he said in his commercials, taking the country back, talking about repealing Obamacare, and then getting the economy going. So he is addressing certainly a jubilant crowd out there, the party just getting started for all those supporters for David Perdue tonight. Let's broaden out a little bit here because Republicans are now closing in on control of the U.S. Senate. They have picked up 5 of the 6 seats necessary here for a Senate majority. Kentucky decided early on that they are sticking with Republican Senator Mitch McConnell. He won over his Democratic challenger, Allison Lundergan Grimes. If the GOP has a good night, of course, he will likely be the next Senate majority leader.
Tonight they said we can have real change in Washington, real change.
We already know Republicans have picked up wins in Arkansas, in South Dakota, and in West Virginia.
We were one of the first states to send a message to President Obama tonight that his policies were on the ballot today. And it can be heard loud and clear in the White House, I believe, that this president's agenda just isn't working for West Virginia.
Let's run a couple of other races by you. We're still waiting on results of those 2 candidates there in North Carolina. In Louisiana, there will be a runoff. Neither Democratic Senator Mary Landrieu nor Republican challenger Bill Cassidy received more than 50% of the vote. Right now, I want to take you back out live and show you some more live pictures from Nathan Deal's campaign, and the party is probably going to continue right there at the College Football Hall of Fame for a while. At 72, Nathan Deal, in his final campaign, he is going back to the governor's mansion for a second term. Our live continuous team coverage continues right after this.
And welcome back. In a developing story tonight, there were some polling places that had a few problems today, and voters were certainly frustrated. In fact, one of those places was in Sandy Springs.
It absolutely was. CBS 46's Daniel Wilkerson has been following this story for us throughout the day. Certainly not a good day for a lot of voters out there. Daniel.
That is right, Stephanie and Tracy, and I can tell you the workers are wrapping up at this hour. They are pulling tape out of the machines, getting those machines ready to go. The last voter left out here at about 9:15 tonight. Now, there was talk in line that perhaps that maybe some of the machines were broken or that they didn't have enough staff here, but I talked to the precinct manager and she says that that was not the case. In fact, she says they had plenty of machines, but she says the problem was they didn't have enough express poll machines. Now, at one time, the line reached nearly to the street because of those precincts that closed. There was confusion, and voters became angry when they arrived just after the deadline.
It seems like I'll be out here for a long time.
Hundreds of unhappy voters at this Sandy Springs church. At times, the line reached 200 to 300 people.
I get to the end of the line, and the guy's like, "You're not going to be able to vote."
Me and this other lady ran down and around the corner like half a mile to get here.
I think it's poor planning is what I would say.
Voters in line say they recently closed 5 precincts and combined them all here at the North Springs United Methodist Church.
And then there weren't any signs over there saying that this was the new polling precinct.
They told us that we were at the wrong location and that we had to go to the other location.
Voters say they never received a letter telling them their locations had changed.
Well, I literally dragged my sick child out of the bed to vote, to exercise my right, and now I'm not going to be able to vote.
Candace Childress went to 2 locations and showed up 2 minutes after the deadline and was turned away. I walked her straight to the precinct manager, Connie Pappas. Did they send out letters notifying people?
I don't think they did, and that's the problem. That's one problem there. But
Pappas, the precinct manager, then walked to the end of the line and told voters who were originally turned away they would now be able to vote.
It went well. Actually, I am very grateful. Thank you so much for helping me, because I don't know if I would have been able to vote without you guys.
And you're taking a live look right now at the workers wrapping up. I can tell you that these workers at this precinct really tried their best to accommodate everyone. That woman that you heard from in the piece, she says that while things turn out well, she says she will be writing the powers to be. She's calling what happened here tonight unacceptable. We're live in Sandy Springs. Daniel Wilkerson, CBS 46 News.
Daniel, thank you. And we do have an update to tell you about. Republicans now have control of the Senate. They were vying for 6 open Senate seats, including the one here in Georgia. Of course, David Perdue won that seat earlier tonight against Michelle Nunn. We will have more on that story coming up in just a bit. In the meantime, we want to get back to some issues there for a lot of voters, this time in Dekalb County, where people waited for nearly 2 hours to vote at one polling place. It was all because of problems with the voter validation machines. CBS 46's Jocelyn Cannell continues our team coverage.
When voters arrived here at the St. Philip AME Church in Decatur, the line started right here, went all the way through the building, and snaked right out the back door. This is what greeted Fran Spinelli when she went to vote Tuesday evening, and she quickly found out why.
There's only 3 machines, and they're intermittently working.
Spinelli and other voters told CBS 46 while the polling location had plenty of voting machines, there were only a couple of validation machines, and those validation machines kept freezing up.
They were broken or slow or something. No one was moving for about 20 minutes.
Ken Proctor says it got so bad the poll workers started handing out provisional ballots to people who needed to leave, and then they ran out of those.
I watched people get frustrated and leave. They've got small children, can't stand there in line, so they leave. It's ridiculous. You're keeping people from voting.
Spinelli says it just doesn't make sense.
Why aren't there more machines?
DeKalb County elections officials were not immediately available to discuss these particular issues, but we will be sure to follow up in the days to come. Indicator Jocelyn Cannell, CBS 46 News.
Our team coverage continues in Fulton County, where volunteers are still counting the ballots from that county's 226 precincts. CBS 46's Bernard Watson is live at a warehouse where they are working late tonight.
They certainly are, Stephanie. This is the warehouse where all the votes that were cast in Fulton County will be brought to. The trucks carrying those votes have been arriving here for the last hour to 90 minutes or so. Once they arrive here, they're being taken off the trucks and taken back in that area where they are being processed, and then those votes will be counted. Even though the polls closed about 4 hours ago, a little more than 4 hours ago, there's still a lot of activity here because there's still work to be done. It's been a long day for election workers in Fulton County. The final heavy lifting started after the polls closed at 7 o'clock.
We are opening the early voting units so that we can get those votes tabulated. And behind me, those are all of the absentee ballots. They're being opened, and so we can finish scanning those.
Richard Barron, the Fulton County Registration and Elections Director, says more than 1,700 people were on hand today to work the polling places and address problems.
All of our 226 polling locations opened on time, and everyone that was in line at 7 o'clock tonight will get an opportunity to vote. We had a few technical issues today. We got them resolved as soon as possible. We got technicians into the field. We had them roving around and fixing those issues.
Although their work is still not done, Barron says he's pleased with how things have gone up to this point.
What it showed is that we can react quickly to things. We have people in the field that we move around and get out to the precincts to help.
Back out here live now. You're looking at a projection of election results on a wall there. That's from the website here in Fulton County, election websites. Now, Barron, the director of elections here in Fulton County, says that once this election is over in the next day or so, they will go back and look at everything that happened and try and come up with new ways to make things better. But he said one thing off the top, he wanted to have no more precinct consolidations. He says that is what was causing some of the problems at some of those precincts with the backups and the long lines. But they said they will look at that in the coming days. For now, we are live in Fulton County. Bernard Watson, CBS 46 News.
Bernard, thanks very much. And folks, we want you to stay with us. We've got another half hour to go. As a matter of fact, I've got some of the best political analysts in the entire state ready and waiting to deliver some key analysis for you, especially regarding the two big races tonight, the one for governor and the one for U.S. Senate, in what is turning out to be a very good night for Republicans here in Georgia. More of our CBS 46 live continuous political coverage right after a break.